Hi all, this is my reading for Benjamin Fulford for June 24th, 2013. The push to end the illegal rule of the West by a criminal cabal is escalating on multiple fronts as seen by a spate of incidents that seem on the surface to be unrelated. Okay, this is on Before It's News. The push to end the illegal rule of the West by a criminal cabal is escalating. Okay, these incidents include the murder of a journalist in California, the ongoing NSA leak scandal, the unreported kidnapping of U.S. Ambassador to Syria Robert Ford, the murder of three free energy researchers last week, and escalating riots. There are also multiple sources predicting some sort of banking black swan event, possibly next week. In Japan, for example, all banking ATM machines in the entire country will be shut down on June 29th and 30th for undisclosed quote technical maintenance. Pentagon sources also talk about some sort of planned bank takeover. The Asian secret society is also planning a big banking move soon, society sources say. The Gnostic Illuminati, for their part, have also promised a renewed offensive against the cabal at the street level. The riots in Turkey and Brazil will be followed by major upheaval in Egypt, expected in the run-up to June 30th. The kidnapping of U.S. Ambassador to Syria Robert Ford was reported to this writer by his fiancée, who is a member of the Italian aristocracy, a Dr. Ben Morgan working for the UN in Syria, and a UN official by the name of Kingsley Adogbeji in Nigeria are involved, she says. U.S. Special Forces have been informed of his location. Ford is a moderate career diplomat who is not involved in the violence now racking that country. The seizure of Ford seems to have been carried out by frustrated mercenary armies working for the Saudis and other Zionist enemies of Syria because of his persistence in seeking a peaceful resolution to the conflict there. It is very clear, though, that despite all the screaming about quote no-fly zones and U.S. intervention in Syria by the Sabbatean Zionist mafia and their proxies, the fact is the Pentagon, the Chinese, and the Russians have already agreed not to be provoked into war there. The Zionist slave governments of the UK and France do not have the military might to stop Russia in Syria. This means Western Europe will not be able to import natural gas from the Zionist colonies of Qatar and Saudi Arabia. Not only that, Turkey has now clearly sided with the White Dragon Alliance against the Sabbatean Mafia and has stopped the flow of weapons to Sabbatean mercenaries in Syria. The mercenary terrorist armies in Syria are now doomed. The Nazi Muslim Brotherhood government in Egypt is also going to be targeted by massive demonstrations on June 30th and is expected to be overthrown. The Saudi Arabian gangster government is the ultimate target of the push to free the Middle East of Nazi al-Qaeda, Salafist, and Muslim Brotherhood terror, according to Green Dragon Society sources. The Russians and Germans have also reached a secret agreement to dominate post-Cabal Western Europe, according to Russian FSB sources. That is why Germany does not support the French and British efforts to get non-Russian sources of energy, the sources say. The Vatican is also now clearly pitted against the Sabbatean cabal, and this can be seen in statements by the Pope about financial tyranny. It is also seen in the form of Vatican support for anti-plutocratic riots in Brazil. The real question, though, is what is going to happen to the rogue terrorist government in the United States. Here there are signs of a real struggle between two factions. The Department of Homeland Security, the Washington, D.C. corporate government, and the Zionist corporate slave media are fighting the Pentagon and patriotic elements of the agencies. The fact that the corporate slave media is making a huge fuss about the Snowden NSA leaks is a good indicator they are somehow involved. These are the same media that tried to make Julian Assange of WikiLeaks a big hero, even though Assange follows Zionist BS line about things like 9/11. Neither Snowden nor Assange have revealed anything truly important. Come on, we know the NSA has been watching everything since the end of World War II, and yet they get huge publicity, meaning they must be a form of controlled opposition. The apparent, quote, murder of Rolling Stone journalist Michael Hastings also raises red flags because the photos of his burning Mercedes are obvious fakes. One shows it hit a lamppost, another a tree, and because he was supposedly heading to an Israeli consulate before a, quote, missile hit him. We also got a call from a U.S. source who said that 3 unnamed free energy researchers had been killed by Kabbalists, and Dr. Stephen Greer of the Disclosure Project had gone into hiding out of fear of assassination. We have not been able to confirm this independently at the time of this writing. In any case, the Pentagon and the agencies are fighting back against this Sabbatean corporate media machine with their own internet outlets like Prison Planet, say White Hats, and Bronfen family, Ton Hennigan, Source Fall, Naval Intelligence, and Veterans Today Defense Intelligence Agency. Judging from what Zionist slave press outlets like the New York Times writes, check out the anti-New York Times for a good analysis link. My vote is with the white hats at the Pentagon and the agencies. Please note that while I have contributed articles to Veterans Today, I have not been paid to do that. For their part, Pentagon and agency sources continue to say that Sabbatean control of the process of creating dollars and euros will soon be taken away from them. When the money dries up, the whores will go elsewhere for business. Let us see if their latest promises for big changes by the 4th of July Independence Day celebrations actually happen this year. The Gnostic Illuminati have also promised to intensify their campaign to completely overthrow the Western establishment. They have renewed their webpage link to indicate this. Please note they spend a lot of time insulting me on that site. However, since their attacks are ad hominem, I will simply respond with the Sufi saying, quote, the dogs bark but the caravan rolls on. In any case, they promise dramatic events over the coming months, presumably including lots more street demonstrations, riots, and bizarre plots like the, quote, Boston bombing. However, the real key battle for the planet Earth remains the one of getting control of the central bank money printing presses. To this end, big secret moves are being made. And that is all till next time. Thanks. See ya.